obviously, at the current moment, I'm just making videos for myself because I realize that, no, I take it back. My wife does watch my videos, and I'm very grateful for that. But the reality is, the whole video, from the moment it begins to the moment it ends, is only watched by myself. But I'm very grateful for that. I'm grateful for the ability to post things online. And I've come to the realization that things can always be better, but things can always be worse. And so that's why I think that at the end of the day, you should always be grateful for what you have. You know, if you have all your senses, if you have the ability to see, hear, sorry, I don't know all the six senses. Maybe there's seven. Actually, I learned, it was like maybe a year or two ago, that there's 22 different dimensions, and that's science. That's not coming from me. Please don't ever believe anything I ever say. Please, anyone who watches this in the future, please fact check everything that I say, because I don't want anyone to believe what I say. Everything that I say is just a perspective of one, and the reality is everyone just has a perspective of one. Okay, so sorry, I'm long-winded, but what I wanted to get to is I love watches. I love watches since I could ever remember. Actually, if someone asked me, how did your watch fascination start out? And I'm still learning English, so forgive me if I don't speak 100% perfectly and eloquently. But as long as I can remember, I've been fascinated with taking things apart, and watches to me kind of was that fulfilled that passion, you know. Yeah, so here we go. So currently I have four watches, which three of them are displayed. One I'm wearing. The one that I'm wearing actually is the only automatic watch. So I'm still trying to figure out this whole YouTube and showing things, but I hope this comes in clearly. I can't see what you're seeing on the bottom right hand corner camera, so I'm hoping that that comes in clearly. Shout out to Seiko. I love Seiko. My wife and I visited the Seiko Museum in Japan. I'm very grateful for that. Very, very grateful. So this is the only automatic watch that I have. And to a certain extent, sometimes I feel like hesitant to wear it because I don't know. You know, I do a lot of manual labor and things that are high impact, and it's not just because I'm half Mexican that I do that. I actually enjoy working with the land. Maybe I'm half Hobbit as well. No, I'm just messing around, but I do love hobbits. So I think it's because, you know, I love the concept of breakfast, second breakfast, excuse me, afternoonsies, 11sies. Look, I don't know all of them. Excuse me, forgive me, all the hobbits out there. And that's my attempt at a joke because I know I'm not funny. But the watch that I wear the most is the Hamilton PSR. So let me go. I let the cat out of the bag. Actually, I left. I left the. This is how unprofessional I am, and I actually appreciate that because it gives me room to grow. I realize that if I'm unprofessional at the moment, maybe one day down the road I can become a professional human being. So this is my attempt at that. So please forgive me if everyone else on YouTube has everything together. I can be that one person who does not. I do not, because that leaves me with the opportunity to grow. So my Hamilton PSR, I'm coming on 6 months of ownership for the Hamilton PSR. I probably did it the wrong way. I bought it on Amazon. I want to say I think that was the best price at the time. So I absolutely love this watch. Absolutely love this watch, and it's actually impressed me in quite a few ways that I did not anticipate. And that is, you know, I do work outside a lot. I do a lot of manual labor. I love planting trees. I had 2 trees recently that I had to cut down because they were dead. And just, you know, the high impact of cutting and chopping wood, I was hesitant at first to wear this watch during that, but it's proven itself to be a workhorse. It absolutely has. It absolutely has. So shout out to Hamilton for making such an amazing watch with the PSR. After 6 months of ownership, the watch has been on my wrist probably 90% of the time, and I'm very, very appreciative of the durability of the watch. So anyone out there who's considering a Hamilton PSR, and maybe you're on the fence because, you know, you do a lot of high impact, high activity things, please don't, and this is coming from me. So obviously don't listen to me, do your own research, listen to the people out there who know more than I do, because I'm not an expert in any field. But for me and what I do, it has served quite well. Now the AV8 here, let me go through here. So I haven't worn the Seiko as much because it's an automatic, and I'm just don't get me wrong, I love automatic watches. I absolutely do. I've owned a Tudor, I've owned multiple Seikos, I'm not, I haven't owned by far. I haven't owned anything more than retail, at the current moment. I haven't owned anything that's been valued at more than $4,000 or $5,000. So I have not touched into or delved into the expensive watches or highly expensive automatic watches, but I do have some experience, and I've never had an automatic watch fail me, but that's not to say that it isn't possible. So because it's my only automatic at the moment, I'm hesitant to wear it. Well, and also because it's gold-plated, gold color. I'll just say that. I feel like it's more for, it's more a dressy watch, which I'm okay with. But I haven't really had any excuses to dress up in the last few years, which is fine. The AV8 I actually appreciate too. I'll bring it up there. Shout out to the. Hold on, let me pull it up here. Let me attempt to shout out to the Royal British Legion, and shout out to AVI 8 for creating such an amazing piece, and for donating to such a magnificent organization. So thank you. I truly do appreciate that watch. And my Casio, I couldn't find it. I know I bought it on Amazon. It didn't show me the date, so I don't remember. I'm sure if I scroll back and was more prepared, I could look up on my Instagram when I actually purchased that watch. But it reminds me, it has that nostalgia because when I was a kid, and I probably shouldn't say this, but not this part. I was raised Catholic and proud of it. But in church, I found myself more often than not messing with the calculator function of my Casio, and less so paying attention to what was being said. So that's my fault, but that's the nostalgia that watch brings to me. So I haven't worn that watch as much since getting the PSR. But now on to where I'm at currently. So these are my 4 watches that I currently own. I am going to hopefully soon get my 5th watch, and I'm grateful to my wife for providing me with this opportunity to buy this watch. She asked me what I wanted for my birthday, and I said, well, I'm very into watches, I'm very into firearms, I'm very into musical instruments, I'm very into video games, I'm very into a lot of stuff. I'm not going to go into all the things I'm very into, but I'm into a lot of things. But currently, the one thing that's rekindled back into my life is watches. So I did a little research. Shout out to, I don't recall, but just the last couple of days I've been researching, what I wanted to do, what I wanted to buy. And there was a very similar to Hamilton PSR that's being released by a French company. And that's actually and it was only going to be released on Kickstarter. But I realized that it's so much like my PSR, and I didn't want to I don't want to just have multiples of the same watch. I want every watch to kind of complement the one prior. And I was thinking, well, I want to get back into firearms. I want to get back into high impact sports, or things where I feel like a G-Shock would shine. I've owned G-Shocks in the past. And honestly, I don't know where. I've sold some, I've given some away. I'm appreciative of G-Shock for having a line that is reasonably priced, but at the same time having G-Shocks that are, in my opinion, drop dead gorgeous. So when the I believe it's the MTG, forgive me if I'm 100% wrong, but when this line came out, hold on, I'm gonna fumble through it, forgive me. Let's go here. let's see. Okay, now, okay, so I think it's the MTG line. I've always been eyeing that MTG. Yes. When this came out, I don't know how long ago it was, and look, forgive me if my numbers are off, but when this watch came out, I don't know if you can see it, but because I have, okay, there. When this watch came out, I knew one day in the future I would have to get one. But when it came out, I think it was $1,200 to $1,000, which isn't unreasonable, but I kind of wanted just to wait a little bit. And now that the GSTB300 line has come out, it's been out for I think a year. It really just appeals to me. I feel like there's a market for an all steel G-Shock. I feel like there's a market for a watch that is highly, highly, highly durable, highly shock resistant, but also very classy. I think there's a niche that Casio is really, really just absolutely brilliant. Casio, shout out to you for doing something so amazing. So I thought about it, I slept on it, and when I woke up this morning, I said, you know what, this is the way to go, because I feel like this is going to be the watch that's going to complement me if I get back into firearms, especially large caliber firearms that require a lot of just shock absorption and shock resistance, and I just appreciate something that I can wear and not necessarily have to worry so much about the movement. Now that I've gotten older, I don't necessarily have to take everything apart and break everything, and I need to work on being understanding of my son, because he's kind of doing the same thing and he's very rough with his toys. But I realize that you have to be rough with things in order to realize how to not be rough with things. So I need to learn, and I need to become a better person and be more understanding and compassionate to my son. And now that we have a second son, he's a couple weeks old, and or out of the womb, a couple weeks old. I'll say it that way. I need to reflect on myself, and I need to spend more time looking in the mirror and realizing that, everything that I look at and am angry at for my kids doing, I have to realize that I did as well. And it was only through the process of outwearing those things that were unacceptable that I was able to come through on the outside of that and be a better human being. And I think that only comes through self-reflection. So that's the state of my my watch collection. So it will be the 5th watch that currently I'll own. I do have a Timex Batman Snoopy that's in the safe, but that's my son's watch. So I bought that specifically for him, and I want to stay true to that. That watch is his watch, and hopefully one day he'll wear it and he won't. I think I'll try to give him the cheaper watches, and if he wants to take those apart, I'm okay with that. I'm absolutely okay with that. So thank you. I love you. Please don't ever take my word for anything, but always remember that God's not dead. He's alive on the inside. Thank you. I love you. Have a blessed day.